Item 112 in Unleashing Your Unviolent Warrior. Each hour I mentally give, mentally dedicate that hour, that meal, those resources, myself, to working for, truly, actually, our neediest children, born and to be born. It's heaven. Saves me from wasting that hour. Saves me from wasting my life. I've devoted many years now to trying to deeply understand, to deeply incorporate in myself, and to live out what can be learned from the great nonviolent warriors throughout history: Jesus, Gandhi, King, Diane Wilson, Diane Nash, Alice Paul, Oscar Romero, Teresa of Calcutta, and on and on and on. I don't know of any of them that has said what I just said, and I don't know of any of them that would say that in their own way they didn't do the same thing. Every cell in your body, every organ in your body that's healthy, and every organ and cell in my body that's healthy, from the instant it's conceived until the instant it expires, is devoted to the well-being of the body. Every nanosecond, right? Only when that tissue turns cancerous, like the tumors in my liver, is it different for cells. And those cells don't have malice to the body. They just decide. Something distracts them from their task and makes them think, I kind of think I should be working for the body, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to work for me and for some cells around me. They bear the body no malice in doing this. They just stop taking responsibility for the body, and the body begins to die. Well, we've created a culture with that notion that cancer is the way to be, and cancer is wildly successful. It's going to, I am virtually symptom-free. And yet all science says I'll be dead in 9 months. It will take me that fast. Those little suckers will outgrow the rest of my healthy tissue, and it'll kill me. And that's what we Westerners, we baby boomers, we children, of the greatest generation, that's what we're in the final stages of doing to Earth, to humanity, unless we wake up in these final moments. Number 112, each hour I mentally give, mentally dedicate that hour, that meal, those resources, myself, to working for, truly, actually, our neediest children, born and to be born. It's heaven. Saves me from wasting that hour. Saves me from wasting my life. Mother Nature, creation, evolution, had to be really, really clever. At least that's the way it seems, doesn't it? How was she going to get us, before we had language, before we had culture, to look out for each other, to sacrifice ourselves to go after the tiger that otherwise was going to wipe out the village, by building in us an ultimate reward, chemical reward, joy. Now, she had to keep us alive long enough to procreate and to have the energy to go after that tiger, right? So she also built into us the reward system we can experience as pleasure. And the pleasure's unleashed when the nervous system thinks what we're doing is good for me and mine. But joy is produced when, out of what today we'd call love, we are throwing ourselves, potential suicide bomb, our own suicide only, against the tiger, against slavery, against civil injustice, against a brutal dictator, Mubarak, against apartheid. against women not having the right to vote in the case of Alice Paul. Well, number 112, each hour I mentally give myself to truly working for our neediest. We've built a culture that fosters cancer. Well, of course we don't think about it that way. Cancer doesn't think about killing the body, but it does. So there is nothing but distraction to our nervous system for its prime directive, which is to devote itself to the body. So you look at a Gandhi, you look at a Teresa of Calcutta, they are emphatic. I cannot do my work. I cannot do what I do without hours of prayer per day. And what is prayer? Prayer done by them. They're not asking for someone to intercede. They're asking for the greatest in themselves to come forth, to keep their focus from being distracted by the sickness of the cultures around them. And hence number 112. I've got an added level of distraction, potential distraction now. I'm dying. I've got these tumors in my liver. It's not distracting me, but as I realized that I was being pulled this nanosecond, that nanosecond in that direction, loving, what are you going to do about this? What are you missing? I had 111 other tools. Look for the tab on my site. The most important book on the planet, in my view, Unleashing Your Nonviolent Warrior, a personal trainer. But as much as the 111 were keeping me on track, number 112 was missing. I still was being distracted. And what I realized I was missing was the mental tool, the spiritual tool that I now use once, twice, 3 times a day as needed. When I feel my focus flagging from our global neediest, from the work that I yearn to do, from what I yearn to achieve for them, to my own selfish interests, which are just so less satisfying to think about and so useless to think about. The specific of 112 came to me as a fellow who travels with me occasionally, comes to visit, young fellow. Emmanuel is his name. Oh, if he'd bring a snack to eat, or we went to the homeless food truck together, he very appropriately and very sincerely would pray before eating. This is months ago I noticed that. Of course I know other people do it. I've never made a habit of that. But as I was searching in these recent days for what tool could keep me from defocusing to my own meaningless, truly meaningless selfish interests, they're meaningless in the scope of unfolding, soon-to-be unstoppable ecocide. Truly, objectively, right? If we love our children, we don't care what happens to ourselves, except as it would help or hurt our children. That imagery of my friend Emmanuel, devoting that food that he was about to consume to fuel the service of creation, came to me, and I've simply broadened it a bit. And when I feel my attention flagging, my focus flagging to my own selfish interests or otherwise, it is an infallible tool for me to pull into my mind the thought of, loving, don't you want to give and rededicate yourself to our children? And the answer is yes. Oh, yes. It's like, oh, loving, don't you want to remember to not leave your laptop on the street where it's going to get stolen? Yes, I want to remember that. Don't you want to remember that food truck at 5:15 up at 2nd and H? Yes, I want to remember that. Yes, I want to remember not to waste this next hour on my selfish interests. I want to give it to our children. So it is an incredible blessing to me. And under other words, has been the type of tool that every successful, known or unknown, anonymous or well-known, unviolent warrior has used to choose the part of our nervous system that has been called the kingdom of God, the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of loving, the kingdom that we were designed to live in and live out of, to which I have greedily wanted to return and have pretty well done so these last dozen years. I highly recommend it.